All right, everybody, it's 5:30. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:30. Roll call. At-large Cummins. Here. At-large Poshton.
Here.
Ward 1 Welker.
Present.
Ward 2 Helm.
Here.
Ward 3 Johnston.
Here.
Okay, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next is the approval of the agenda. I would like for the council to consider removing item number 2 under city business per the email communication that I sent to you.
I was of the understanding that that was approved, so I guess I would leave it and find out.
What was approved?
The item number 2, the inspections one too. Is that what you're talking
No, not for item number 2.
Under city business.
about?
There is none. There hasn't been any done. For item number 2. Pay application number 6 has been done.
Which one's item number 2?
City business, item number 2.
There you go.
Yeah, I just asked about that one and I was told that it was, that those.
No, the necessary required paperwork has not been submitted for the city inspector.
Brian, do you know anything about that?
About the urban revite application?
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything in addition to the concern about taking it off. I haven't seen any or heard anything new about inspections being done.
Linda, do you know? Thank you.
I have some emails here with Jason and Terry both. And on the 12th, I emailed Terry after receiving an email from Jason. And I said to Terry, I received an email from Jason. He said, you two have connected and I can proceed with the tax exemption application. Is that correct? And the answer I got back from Terry on the 12th was yes.
But they didn't apply for permits and there's been no inspections done. Terry looked yesterday at City Hall.
That's what I was told, so that's why it was put on, it was yes. So I try to make sure that all of my dots are
I know.
there and my T's
I know.
are crossed, and when
Okay.
the building inspector told me yes, that's why it got put on the agenda.
Well, it isn't a matter of it being due now. I mean, it can be submitted anytime between now and later in the year. So, they're not going to consider this until after February of next year. So it isn't a matter of if it's not approved tonight, it's late.
So what do they have left to do then?
Well, according to the building inspector, there have been no permits filed for this address and he's not inspected any of the work that's been done. He went to City Hall yesterday and pulled the permit applications and he said there wasn't any and drove by the property and had said he has not inspected anything at this property.
I would appreciate if Terry would tell me that, because I'm the one that's doing these applications, and when I'm left in the dark, and he says yes, then I don't know how you expect me to do my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, that.
I guess it's up to you all then to decide how you want to proceed with that.
What would you like us to do?
Well, at this point, we have contradictory information, so I
We do,
think regardless,
yeah.
I mean, theoretically, we wouldn't know that if Terry's not here and Terry didn't say anything. I mean, theoretically, we wouldn't know that if it weren't for the fact that you're with Terry and told us that, so that
well, potentially,
That-
but I've
that
been
could
looking at all of these pay
potentially be
applications before
that.
we,
could potentially be an issue, you know, if you weren't the mayor, we would have been just proceeding as usual.
right, but I think it's also an issue of enforcing the ordinance. I mean, there's this illegal obligation on their part to provide the state and abide by the state regulations. And that's not being done, which is part of the new enforcement, that we're trying to improve the compliance of the ordinances and enforcement of the ordinances.
So what is it, product? Do we need a motion to approve or disapprove, or we?
Well, you either motion to leave the agenda as it is, or a motion to approve the agenda with the item number 2 under city business removed.
Removing it doesn't hurt their application.
Right, it just
Doesn't do anything
postpones
for
it, basically.
application.
It just postpones it, the approval of it, until they get what they are obligated to do legally.
Move that we strike it. Bring it up when it's appropriate. If that's okay.
I guess that doesn't pertain to us, but did these people put it in by themselves or?
Don't know, because there's no permits.
I'll second the motion that it is approved, but with, or I mean that we strike that from the agenda, but only with the knowledge that then Terry and Linda get together and get this taken care of. So, corrected. Communication needs to be open there.
So we have a motion by Welker to approve the agenda with number 2 under city business removed from the agenda, with a second motion by Cummins. Is that correct? Okay.
Cummins,
Yes.
Hodgson,
Yes.
Welker,
Yes.
Helm, Johnston.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to communications. So we do have one scheduled item under communications, and elementary principal Brian Wood and new school superintendent Brandon Borseth are both here today, along with, I think, some of the other school board members. But they are going to do a presentation for the council today about school enrollment, housing, recruitment, etc. So I think we probably all need to move to the other side of the table so we can see. You didn't bring handouts, right? We need to move. Yeah, okay.
We bring a test, we're gonna administer later.
We don't have enough time to learn. Lucas had that. But I'll let it go.
This has been a project that's been on Mr. Wood's heart for a while. He shared this with us in July, back when we started to get things started and start planning on the coming school year. And so we're gonna cede some time to him right now, just so he can share a little bit about our district, some of the enrollment numbers that we have and the trajectory that we see.
Thank you, Brandon. First, I wanted to start off by saying thank you to all of the volunteers as well as individuals who are sitting in the room tonight. I know that it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to do roles like these, and it's a very, very thankless job for your leadership. So I know that it's not always easy doing what you need to make sure that you're here and you're not with your families or doing things that are different or also true to your heart. So thank you again for your time and effort. I want to make sure I first start off by highlighting some of the really big positives that we have going on, specifically with the elementary. I know that Chad is here for the high school, and our middle school principal, Justin Borseth, would echo those statements as well, but this is primarily kind of revolving around the elementary, as I didn't really have time to collaborate or discuss much of this with them. So it's, again, most of these numbers are elementary, and the other pieces of it are particularly pertaining to the elementary. We have an excellent relationship with our police force. There's been multiple times where I've needed, with the detours and things like that right outside of school, all I had to do was put in one phone call and, yep, we'll have it there. And there was a person there in 2 minutes to be able to help us out with making sure that it's a safe place for our students, especially with traffic. So I truly appreciate that relationship we have with them. Obviously, our SRO and our DARE program are fantastic. We truly appreciate everything that that department does, as well as the fire department. I know we have Fire Prevention Week. They have some tools that help our students learn different ways to be safe and making sure that they're always taken care of. And we have field trips with our kindergarten. Our kindergartners, that is, if you ask them at the end of the year, that's the highlight of their year, going to the fire department and getting to see that. They love that. So we also have Trees for Threes. I know that's something that the city and the school work closely hand in hand with, which we really appreciate. And I know that we're continuing to work hard to develop a closer relationship together between the school and the community. And then I know we're taking some time to connect after this as well, which is much appreciated, which we, again, truly value and know that we're all one Tipton, we're all pulling in the same direction. We want what's best for our town. And so making sure that we're having those open lines of communication are very valued. I really wanted to talk through and highlight some of the numbers and data that I have been seeing. And this is my third year here in Tipton. I also have data that has pre-existed my existence here. And just talking about, like, there's some different leading indicators and there are some different lagging indicators for the health of a community. One of the leading indicators is your elementary population, specifically your kindergarten class. And we'll talk through that more here in a minute. But more information is always good for me whenever I'm trying to make a decision and make things that are going to be impacting future, years to come. So being able to present you with more information is the big purpose and big overall takeaway of my wanting to share. Over last year in 23-24, we had 22 students move in from other communities to the elementary. We had 40 students in some way, shape, or form move out. In talking with our school secretary and just some individuals that have been there for a while, that is very, very rare that we would have more students leave than we would have come in. And the fact that it's almost double is something that would be concerning to me. If we look at our overall, not on the screen, sorry. Looking at our overall enrollment and our enrollment trends from 2018 to 2023, we're seeing we were pretty stable pre-COVID. Post-COVID, we have seen a dramatic downturn in our enrollment, and this is kindergarten through 12th grade. This does not include preschool. We are seeing a large enrollment trend downward, which is, I'll get to the purpose of why that's a little bit concerning, or more than a little bit concerning, it's concerning. We're also seeing our open enrollment trends. Number of students open enrolling in is staying pretty well consistent, anywhere between 76 and 84, 85. But we're seeing an increase in the number of students who are open enrolling out. And so our net open enrollment is still positive. That means we have funds coming in from other districts. We have funds coming in because students from other districts are coming into our district. But you can see the net open enrollment is the net open enrollment is decreasing and has a trend of going downward. Specifically Tipton Elementary, in 3 years, we have gone from not quite 340 students to this year. We are starting the year, as of right now, this second, we have 284 students enrolled. That is taking a graduating class from 81 students in 2023 and replenishing it with a class of 2024 kindergartners of 38. That's a net gain of negative 43 students, which is, that tells you that's demographically, that's a strong decline. And so big picture, what does that mean if we have this declining enrollment? Roughly, if you said all things were equal, we get roughly $7,800 per student who walks in our building. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less with some different funding, but it's safe to say you get at minimum 7,800 per student. If you multiply that by 43, which is our net gain that we had lost, we're losing somewhere around $335,000 that could be coming into the Tipton School District, which is more than likely spent here in Tipton. So we're having a lower population because we have those graduating students. They graduate. Some of them stay in the community, continue and join the workforce. Some of them go out and spread their wings and go to different locations, do some different things. But overall, our town population is getting into a decrease in just that graduation and absorption piece, which creates a less of a tax base, and if you have less money staying in the community, if your population declines. Again, the purpose of it is to be able to help us understand what do we need to do to be able to attract families, and what do we need to do to draw in young families and young professionals. I know myself, I live in a different community. As we look for housing within Cedar County and Tipton specifically, we're having just some difficulty being able to find that. I know I don't want to speak for other people in the room or other administrators, but I know that that's also been a challenge for other people as well, who are young professionals trying to join a community. It's just been tough to be able to find those different living spaces. With this decline in population, I also did mention we had students still moving in, that's not uncommon to have students move in, but also having a decline in your population. We have tended to see an increase in low socioeconomic status, and what that means is they are close to or below the poverty line. So these students end up qualifying for free and reduced lunch. If you're a family of 3, it's around $25,000 or less, and then if you're a family of 4, it goes up another $5,000, so $30,000 or less. So the larger your family, the higher that threshold is to be on the poverty line. So these individuals have less of a buffer if there's ever a catastrophic event. So if they have their water heater go out, or if we have another, torrential rain or a derecho or something like that, an act of God would really put these individuals in a really bad situation. And so this type of individual tends to need more support from the surrounding community, because you can never tell when those acts of God are going to happen. So this is just specifically the elementary. From 2018 through 2023, we're seeing an increase of roughly 16% within a 5-year time span. So like I said, our population is trending downward, where we're decreasing the number of students, and the number of students that are coming in are just needing more support and more help with that low SES population. These numbers have not made it up their way to the middle school and high school yet, but obviously as trends continue and individuals get older and years pass, that trend would continue, and they would end up going up the chain there. Again, with this housing continuing to age and this free and reduced lunching, it does end up attracting individuals who do need that support. If I'm an individual who makes roughly $25,000 a year, some of the things that I would look for would be housing that would be affordable within that, but families that can afford new housing or new development are finding difficult ways to achieve that. And then again, continuing to look at ways where our facilities and community can connect together to be able to help, not only help with our school facilities, but how can we potentially merge together with those two things to help make sure that the facilities that we do have control over continue to have those upgrades, those updates, and when possible, new facilities to be able to help make sure that all of our students and staff and community members are able to utilize it. So again, like I said, combining, we're seeing, especially at the elementary, we're seeing our enrollments declining, and we're seeing our low SES population increasing. Like I said, this is a leading indicator of what ends up tending to happen to communities. Is your kindergarten class, what does that tend to look like? Right now, we have a class of 38 with our current kindergarten class, and then we have a class of 43 ahead of that. And again, as we're continuing to see that trend continue with those large graduation classes, eventually as it trickles up, we're going to have some interesting decisions to be talking through. For next steps, I truly don't have any next steps for you that I can obviously implement. This is the purpose of me talking through this is I'm a concerned member of our community that really cares about the people that have been so very good to me and my family. I would encourage you to look at different ways to think through different housing developments and way for the school and community leaders to continue to connect, which like I said, I truly appreciate that we have that ball rolling. And I would like to continue that, as well as is there ways to bring more businesses and revenue to our community. Like I said, I have no authority. I'm just a member who is trying to share information that is important for you guys who are making decisions on the future of Tipton. And we all want what's best for Tipton, and being able to make good, sound decisions on trends that we're seeing on data is always going to be more important than trying to make decisions in the dark. So that's the purpose of my conversation. I truly appreciate you giving me the time to have that. Okay. Thanks.
That's all.
Okay, how about the turkey? We're gonna say something or not. Thanks, guys. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council in an unscheduled? No, there, no, okay. All right, then we will move on to the consent agenda. These are routine items that will be enacted by one motion without separate discussion unless a council member requests separate consideration. Approval of the council meeting minutes from August 5th of 2024. Approval of the investment and treasurer's report from July of 2024. Approval library minutes, July 22nd, 2024. Approval of the library's director's report from July of 2024. Approval of the library annual report. Approval of the pay request for the housing rehabilitation program for the Beckler project at 222 West A Street to Advantis LLC for $32,118. Approval of pay application number 15, replace the Highway 38 South Street to Iowa 130 to Triple B Construction for $733,106.63. And approval to a proposal to replace budgeted computer equipment, and approval of the claims register, which includes claims paid under the current purchase policy.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Cummins, seconded by Johnston.
Posturing,
Yes.
Welker,
Yes.
Helm,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Cummins.
Yes.
Leon was hoping to be here for number one. I haven't seen her yet. Could we do number 3 first?
Yes, yes. So we, under city business, so next on the agenda is city business, and we will start with item number 3, which is discussion and possible action concerning the shoulder repair on West South Street. Steve, you wanna?
I had more to report, but I do have another quote coming in from Manats, who is they're going to be doing, of course, the asphalt up at in front of the grocery store. I met with him last week, and I was supposed to have that quote today, but it didn't show up. So the only quote we have is what you folks are aware of. Any questions on, have you seen that out there? Don't drive off the road. We had an option of either putting cones up or putting rock in there for a while, and I decided on the cones so everybody could see the extent of it. We got a better idea from the Manats guy. He's a full-time asphalt guy, of course. A couple different ways to do that. So interesting to see what he comes back. By the way, he did give us a quote as well on a possible parking area up at the aquatic center. He's gonna quote that now that the area is opened up. So it'll be interesting to see what he has coming back. Any questions on any of that? Projects are going pretty good. Oh, by the way, there are new no parking signs on the west side of North Plum. We've had a little congestion up there that's caused some problems. So hoping that'll resolve that situation.
Steve.
Any,
Steve?
Yeah.
Keep talking.
We're waiting for someone to possibly be here for the first item.
For item number 1, so we're killing time. Keep talking. Highway 38 project update.
anything else you want to know?
And I realize
All I know for today.
listening to Steve usually isn't our first option. This would be one time. Maybe we could do
The
the
38 project, as you're all aware, that got from 3rd to 5th, got laid down on Friday. They're thinking that, in a couple of weeks, we'll have a sidewalk to sidewalk, and we'll get that open and get the traffic back on that street. So I'm really tickled with the way that's developed and is on track. Not so excited about how the project's going up on North Plum. But I did, this is interesting, I went up there just to check again today. Just happened to catch Cook there along with Ryan and,
Colby,
yeah,
they were all there?
and Corby, Colby.
Colby.
So had a discussion with all 3 of them. They think I said, okay, so give me a time frame here. I mean, the place looks like it's in a war zone now. What are we thinking now? Well, I don't know if you're aware of it, but they did snag a water line on Friday, and that resulted in now we're doing a water main fix. They are tomorrow on their nickel, of course, but that needs to be fixed, and we need to set a,
Clean out.
We've got that one sanitary sewer clean out to move back. Other than that, they said it's a go, and they think they should have that. Today's Monday, I don't know, this would be a push, I think, but they think by the first part of next week, they'll have that down to grade, and All Americans should be able to come in by the end of next week. Now, I think that might be a little optimistic, but I'd be happy to see that happen. It's real congested up there. We didn't see that coming, but when people up there in the household have 6 vehicles, that's a problem. And the house next door has 4, that's a problem with parking. So, but we're working through it. I think it's gonna be okay.
So are
we done now?
well, just one quick question though.
Can I quit yet?
Timeline for the street project originally was September 1st, and what are we thinking, middle of the month now, or
No, I think,
first week of September?
based on what I have witnessed and what I know, and I didn't talk to anybody today up there that in a position to know. It looks like by the end of next week, if they get those parking areas.
They'll pour concrete, or it'll be done?
No, they'll be pouring the
Yeah.
concrete,
Yeah.
the curb and gutter and the parking.
Okay, but it'll be another week before anybody can drive on
It'll
it,
be another
so.
week, probably,
And then,
realistically. So,
and then are they gonna open the street before they backfill the curbs, or, okay,
they'll open the street as soon as those curb and gutters get laid and cured, then the street's good to go.
Okay.
Then they'll come in and start working on sidewalks.
so you're thinking after Labor Day regardless, probably?
It should
I
be.
mean, if they pour at the end of next week,
Yeah,
it's gonna be after Labor
keeps
Day.
getting how far, we're into August pretty good.
Well, end of next week is the end of the
So I
month,
think
so,
that first week of September is not unrealistic.
okay. Awesome. That'd be great. Those of us that live there would appreciate that.
That's okay.
Can we go now, or will we keep
Yeah,
talking?
no, you're good. You're good. Thanks, Steve. All right. Did we need any action for that? That was just discussion, right? Or do we need to
Yeah, we're waiting for another possible quote.
vote, right? Okay.
We might be where we were at last meeting. If the timing works out, we might ask you to do a quick special meeting. Otherwise, we might bring it to the first meeting in September, remembering that we rescheduled the September meeting, so we might be looking at a short special meeting.
Okay. All right. So moving back to item number 1 under city business is discussion and possible action authorizing a grant application to the Iowa Community Visioning Program including a $2,000 application commitment. Brian, do you want to?
Read this part.
You want me to read the rest of it? Okay,
Yeah.
I know I can do it. So if awarded, this program matches a landscape architect and other resources to work with a committee of community volunteers to envision a number of possible projects over upcoming years, such as safety options for the Plum Street bottleneck, the 7th Street Plum Street intersection bottleneck, versus the North Plum Street bottleneck that Steve was talking about. A landscape plan if Montgomery Drive is developed, a landscaping plan for the proposed recreational area on city property south of Montgomery Drive, trail connections, etc. The program is associated with the ISU extension, and Dion Dadlow is here to assist in that conversation.
Yeah.
You want to come out? Yeah.
So we at the extension office have a CDC grant that they call HOP, but it's for high obesity counties in Iowa, and the state of Iowa has decided to call it LEAP, so we will call it LEAP from here on out. But what it is Cedar County has an obesity rate of 40% or higher. So we're putting together coalition members. Lisa Dufour has been working with us as well. We've been doing walk audits to make sure that there's safe routes to people to partake in healthy activity, physical activity outside. And so one area that our group noticed on our walk audit was there's no sidewalk on Plum Street by the park. So that's where the Plum Street project gets in. But so this goes in with that LEAP grant because we're promoting healthy living. So like if you did the Montgomery project that Brian Wagner was talking about, there would be some activity along with that. So this $2,000 that you would be committing would just be for this group, this landscape architecture and all their resources from Iowa State to come in and look at projects, bring in community members, get their take on what they would like to see for the town, and then they would draw up plans. And you can go to the Iowa Community Visioning Program website to see what other communities have done. And some of you have been around. Tipton did do this back in 2007. So there was one done back in 2007, and you can see that some things little projects have been done since then, but sidewalks were a thing back then too, and so that's still, and things have changed in Tipton. That's a long time ago. Doesn't seem that far really, but it is quite a bit away. So any questions for me on that? We met last week, Friday, Brian and Tammy and me and Aaron and the lady that is in charge of the Iowa Community Visioning Program, and Lisa Dufour was on that as well.
Yeah, there are a number of things from 2007 that we weren't aware of, but we sort of reinvented them along the way. One example, on the city's water tower, the font that's used for Tipton came out of that visioning study from 2007. But some of the things that we sort of reinvented without knowing about the previous study was the idea about wayfinding signs, the idea about doing murals. There are some different locations that 2007 had in mind, but it's the same basic idea. So it's one of those things where if you can identify it, hopefully it'll stay in the community's conscious, and we'll follow up on it and make a plan for it. The other thing that we wanted to mention was there's a second program that is an application through the Iowa DOT, and that's Safe Routes to Schools. That has an October 1st application deadline. I think this one is September 1st for the visioning. I think it would be for the best to try to apply for both and see if one or the other or maybe both hit for us. So that's our plan. We're going to be talking to ECIA about the DOT program. We're going to try to put together the application for visioning in-house. But I wanted you to be aware of the second program so we're not limited. This program, as the mayor read in the tag for this, it does require a $2,000 commitment. But that doesn't seem like a whole lot when you consider all the different ideas that may come out of it. And just to mention briefly, Montgomery Drive. Congresswoman Miller Meeks was here today, and we were talking about Highway 38. But we also started talking about Montgomery Drive, and the estimate that we had for Montgomery Drive was, I think it was around 2.3 million, something like that, 2.2. We applied for a little over 1.8 million in what's called a federally directed appropriation, or the slang for it is an earmark. It's survived the budget process so far, but it's been lowered to 1 million. Right now it's in the federal House Appropriations Committee. It looks like if it makes its way through there, we're told that it's a pretty good bet that it'll be kept intact. Well, one of the things about that program, what made me think about this visioning process is, it's the area that is basically the access road across from the golf course that goes down to our wastewater facility, also the peak shaving facility for the gas utility. Well, the infrastructure is basically there. It's under that access road. We applied to have the access road converted into a regular residential street. At the north end, where South Street is, we put into the plan a parking lot, and then the other part of the plan is a parallel trail that would go along Montgomery Drive if developed, and it then would go into the city-owned property south of that. And over the years, we've looked at different trail routes, such as primitive trail routes. We've been trying to figure out ways to connect it to trails over along the Highway 38 and the conservative property between Spruce and 38. Part of the plan is to take runoff from what would be a housing subdivision along Montgomery Drive on the west side. We think that it would open up to 35 housing lots if fully developed. The runoff from that would bring water to a pond that could be used recreationally. But there's no landscaping plan that we did. There's nothing where the parking lot is. It doesn't assume anything along Montgomery Drive or the parallel trail. It doesn't assume anything as you get south of where Montgomery Drive ends and city property begins. So I thought that maybe the visioning process could be used for that too. And hopefully that would make it more attractive for housing in that area. So anyway, those are the two programs we're looking at. The immediate one for tonight is the visioning application.
And they'll do all the mock-ups for it, so that's included in that. So you'll get mock-ups and like before and after pictures that you can share with the community too with that visioning.
This vision is a September 1st deadline, right?
It is, correct. And Linda Beck was in that meeting too, and she offered to help write the application as well to help with timing and stuff, since it's a quick turnaround.
I think this is very, very good deal, especially what you guys talked to us about trying to get more people attracted to this, and it's a very little investment. So I make a motion to approve. I think it's a great idea.
Second.
Okay. So motion by Poston, seconded by Helm.
Wester? Welker?
I didn't send you the email, I was changing my name yet, so can we do that tomorrow, next week? Yes.
That was 6 months ago.
Just call me hey you, it's okay.
Welker,
Yes.
Helm,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Cummins, Bastian.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Deanne. Yeah. All right, moving on. That concludes city business. What? Oh. So next on the agenda is reports from mayor, council, city manager, and department heads. Want to start with department heads? Steve already went, so we'll.
Oh, Steve, you got it.
So you got anything else?
Nothing to say?
Golf is my limit.
I know that Denise has something she wanted to just address with the council.
This is the first time for a while since I've come and kind of given a look at the annual report. I wanted to get back doing that. I don't know how many, you get tons and tons of paper, you get pictures, and so I'm not even sure how many of you even have kind of even glance at this. Building status, I do want to say thank you to Steve and the guys. They did an awesome job on the back entryway. We finally got that taken care of, so now the wheelchairs and lockers and so forth can get up into the library. There's been a new bench added into the children's garden. It was given through memorial. Mulching has been done. The rain took some of that out. We'll have to put that back, but there's mulching that's been done. Trees have been trimmed up against the building. Inside the children's area, if you haven't been in there, has totally changed since February. We have all the adult section in the adult section. We have the teen and the teen. We've got the children and the children's, and we've actually got some new ideas coming up. So stay tuned for that. 4 new staff computers and 9 public computers were purchased due to the $4,000 Cedar County Community Foundation grant. And so now we are up and the top here now. We are with OMC. We're very thankful for that. We also got our email migration in. So now we're actually officially .org now, which state library email is going away. We found out May 1st next year. The library is a very, very busy place. It's more than just books. We, I believe, are the only place in town that does faxing. We can do anywhere from 1 to 20-page faxes in a week's time. So that is a huge, huge thing. Copies, prints, scans, we can do that from the phone and all of that. Workspace, we have multiple people who use this as their workspace. They come in for Zoom meetings. They've got to meet with Iowa Vocation uses it, Goodwill, so on and so forth. And then Tammy, did you want me to mention the life skills or do we want to hold off on that?
You can if you want.
Okay. We are partnering with Don Seek and the high school come this fall with the life skills class. We've got a little apartment set up downstairs now. And so it's a first time for both of us. We're gonna probably hit some bumps, but we're looking forward to working with you as well. I know Don has scheduled meetings every month and the athletic directors as well. So we've got all our paperwork taken care of, which I'm thankful for. So thank you. And if we can help anybody else, let us know. So please do take a look at this. I know there's a lot, but every month I put a little page of pictures in here that are a lot of fun, and then some stories of more than just your typical library stuff. So if you ever read that one of those and think, oh, that's cool, let me know. I'd like to know if you're paying attention to that. So, any questions? All right.
Thank you. Right?
Quick one.
Yep.
Yeah, recently approved a manhole replacement contract with Lynch, if you remember, there was a 2 for They come in on Friday and did the one on Inland Road. That's the small one. The big one is on the detour. Bad idea to do that one until the detour closes. So Lynch is ready. We just, once we get Main Street open, he'll come in. We still have a well restoration to do on well 5. Hopefully we can get Northway in here soon to take a look at that. And then recently, if you remember, John had he's wondering what I'm gonna say. Database or whatever with the power plant. And I have a similar situation in the water plant. Jacob Altheus is with Electric Pump Company. And they help us with controls nowadays and SCADA and stuff like that. We're on what's called a slick system. They don't make those components anymore.
Not very slick then.
Not very slick. It was pre-IP and pre-Ethernet. And they're actually, when they're doing tear outs and upgrades, they're stockpiling slick parts just in case. So I've talked him into trying to extend this out for a couple more years. So we're going to put it in the CIP and save some money to get that upgraded. And then one other thing, we've got a small sinkhole starting on Inland Road. Maybe you've seen it. We're trying to determine if it's a homeowner or city problem. It's where they intersect. So we're going to get a camera in there and televise that and see if we can figure that out. It could be an unplanned, surprise, expensive repair. It's kind of deep there. And so we'll be coming back to you with that process. Thank you.
Guess it's my turn. We just did a power plant accreditation last week, so we're good to go for the whole next year. Everything went smooth. Last week we did our end of the feeder project, which is getting really close to being wrapped up. Just got Tri-City to come back in, do some fiber work, and that'll be in the 2 cabinets that we got set out there. Once we get that done, Shermco will come in, get them all programmed up, and then we'll be rocking and rolling, I guess. Special thanks to all the departments that came out and helped me. Sorry I blocked your road at the end of the day. Had a guy from Public Works come up, Chris. He helped us out pull wire, along with the gas department. Both guys were up there. We needed the help. It was pretty muddy that day. It rained a lot. So we played 3 hours playing catch up, getting all the water out of the ditches over there. Other than that, everything's going good.
Thank you.
I have 3 things. First thing is, we will be doing the detour patrol Friday through whenever the detour opens up. We did it last year. I think it went pretty good. So myself and the sergeant will be posted up right there on Lemon Street like last year, and he'll be doing the rotating, and then the day shift car will be doing the rest of the school routes before and after school until it's opened up. So FYI. Second, Officer Dirks had his first day of new teacher training for SRO, and he is very excited. He has mentioned a couple of times this is very exciting for him. And
Good for him right now.
Yeah.
Good for the soul.
Yes.
It's been a good refocus. So
Yeah.
that's really good. The third thing is I've been on the governing board for our region for mental health for a year and a half. Well, the governor changed all of the mental health regions, and so now there are 7 regions. We are now, we were just 5 counties. It was Cedar, Scott, Muscatine, Jackson, and Clinton. And we handled our budget, and we had great services for the most part. We're still very rural, but we now have 14 counties, which include Black Hawk County, and Johnson County, and Lane County, and Dubuque County. And our total population for our region is now 1,038,000. You take the whole state, we are almost a third of the state in population. but there's 7 regions. The governor's office is saying that the allocation of funds isn't gonna be based on population, which I think is kind of baloney. But I know that our region is working very hard, and we've already teamed up with the person who handles eastern central area, which is counties above us to be on over, to make sure that we are getting our consumers the mental health services, because we have a lot that's been put in place in the schools, in the jails, in the co-responders. So I will try to give you guys updates as they come about. Just, it's very frustrating because this will all take effect July 1 of 2025. And I just worry that for this big, huge conglomerate, and now we have all these other big counties where the services will probably be centered. But I'll keep you updated as best I can.
Lisa, is there anything new concerning the one-way?
Every shift, which we have 12-hour shifts, there's been an officer spending time there, and 0 tickets have been given out.
Okay.
I gotta come up if all the department heads are coming up. One thing, November 3rd, I'm planning, it's called Tour of Possibilities. And it is commercial buildings, for commercial buildings in town that are for sale, for lease, or for rent. I have called several property owners to see if they are going to be interested in this project, and they are. I'm going to be doing a lot of media coverage, and that's going to be, I'm going to have printed brochures. I'm working on a radio ad. I'm also working with different newspapers to get this publicized. It'll be an afternoon. November 3rd is a Sunday, and it'll be from 2 to 4. And so I'm in the beginning stages, but the response has been very, very good. So this is one thing that I'm going to be doing, and a big project that I'm working on right now.
That's everybody. I was doing a head check. I'm like, that's everybody, right? Anything from you, for you? No? Okay, all right. Okay. So the only thing I would like to mention is just to remind the council that school administration, some school board members are here. So if you could just stick around for a few minutes after the meeting and introduce yourself to the folks that you don't know. I think there's most of them you probably do, but and just again, introduce yourself to them so they know you and you know them. All right, then if that is everyone, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Helm, seconded by Poston.
Johnston,
Yes.
Cummins,
Yes.
Poston,
Yes.
Welker,
Yes.
Cummins.
Somebody else?
Good Lord.
I think you said it twice. You did, yeah.
Helm.
Oh, yes.
All right, there we go. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I thought we were thinking